Hello, today is 20th of January 2022. My goodness, this year is already flying. So I just thought, let's have a look at some of these charts because there's a lot going on in the on the news everywhere, and even though I don't really watch mainstream media in any way, but I have also heard it through alternative media about this situation that's going on. Right, let's get back a little bit. 4th of December 2021, we had this solar eclipse, quite an amazing one, because I was just saying, if I might actually put the description, the video in the description of this video. But to me, I've never really been one of those people who's been like looking at the what you call like mundane astrology, but things that have been going up in the skies have been quite extraordinary of late. And I think that solar eclipse will be the start of many things that are just slowly started to unravel. And the moment, obviously, all this craziness that you can't say certain things on certain platforms will stop, everybody will be very much in the know about what's happening, because there's so many things that are actually just completely hidden away from us. But obviously that solar eclipse occurred in Scorpio, Sidereal Scorpio, and it also included Mercury. Mercury was in Jeshta, as was Moon and the Sun, and Ketu had already traveled through that. So it was quite telling, and it's in the 8th natural sign of the zodiac. So there's a lot of hidden things, a lot of scandalous things, which they're slowly starting to come out now, actually, funnily enough, even though they're trying to sort of stop the whole, the actual enormity of it. It will come out and we'll all be shocked. So just on the 18th of January, we also had a full moon in Gemini. Sorry, not a full moon in Pushya, in Cancer, Sidereal Cancer, and Mercury again was involved in it in Capricorn, so it was hemmed between Sun and Saturn. It still is. And I just thought, it'd be quite nice to have. I always think the day after the solar eclipse, we had Mars join the Mercury, Sun, Moon, and Ketu in Scorpio. And day after this full moon, what happened was Moon traveled from Pushya into Ashlesha. And Ashlesha is one of those, I don't want you for 1 minute thinking that if you have Ashlesha or Jeshta, you have to worry about this. Obviously, there are certain things that we have to deal with in this lifetime, but the whole point that you are actually interested in astrology means that you are awake, aware, and you use your chart to a higher octave. So I don't think that's an issue at all. Without these, there will be, because they are both ruled by Mercury, these two, Ashlesha and Jeshta. And when used, they can be so amazing. So anyway, so I did the video about Moon and Ashlesha because it's very telling, and I can't see how the media can actually keep things under wrap. I just cannot see it because there's so many little pointers all the time happening. So I thought we look at Prince Andrew's chart today. It just came to me this morning. I thought, let's have a look and see what we can find out. Let's get rid of me there. Okay. So here we are. So he is Cancer ascendant. Ashlesha is the nakshatra that his ascendant is in. Very interesting. So you kind of highlighted that, really, the moon in Ashlesha just on the 19th, yesterday. And right now in the sky, he has Saturn, Sun, and Mercury on his 7th house. Very, very interesting, because wherever Sun is as well is putting rays of the sun is highlighting that part, and it's highlighting his relationships and Venus Mars in his chart. Very interesting. So this is what's happening in the mundane thing. Both his feminine planets, moon is debilitated, and it's interesting in his fifth house, and is his ascendant ruler as well, fifth house. And fifth house would be royalty, really. That's normally when I look at like politicians and royalty, I look at the fifth house. Look at government, Capricorn, 10th house. But it's very strange that his fifth house would be a debilitated moon there. And also, I just wanted to say the lunar eclipse that we had that occurred in November last year moon was at 3 degrees of Taurus. So that would have put like the sun just on his moon as well. Wow, honestly, I just cannot make these things up. Incredible. And the other feminine planet, also Venus, you can see that it's just like really in a difficult situation. Uttara Shada with Mars. Mars is stronger than Venus, and Venus's dispositor is in the 6th house. So you can see that there are quite a lot of difficulties with both of his feminine planets. And Venus is also sitting in Uttara Shada, which is ruled by the Sun, and Sun itself is in the 8th house. So, and Venus is also hemmed between Mars and the Sun. Very interesting stuff. Yeah, you really got to look at this chart and just think, wow, what can you see? It's amazing, really. So, and also for him, his 4th house of homeland has got Neptune there. And I'm not saying that, it's I don't really use the outer planets as such, but it's interesting, isn't it, that it's got Neptune sitting there, and it's part of for his 8th and 12th house. What would be his homeland? Very interesting. Okay, so I'm just going to show you his chart, generally speaking. So I use, obviously, there are 27 nakshatras. But there is also a 28 nakshatra system that I have been taught, which is using color chakra as well. And in that system, they have Abhijit. Abhijit used to reside in Capricorn. And in the 28 nakshatra system, which I use for actually doing readings, the 22nd nakshatra is the nakshatra that creates downfalls for people. And I always tell people, I always warn them during their readings of which one is their 22nd nakshatra in the 28 nakshatra system. And to avoid starting anything major during that time, whether it's marriage, starting a business, moving home, travel, I think that will be the nakshatra to avoid. And years ago, before I was aware of this system, I started a business just on the day. At the time I had Ketu sitting in that nakshatra, and then moon transited on the day I actually opened the business. And well, I literally lost the business, but I lost what would be like equivalent today to a really quite a large home in the UK in money. So just to let you know, you don't want to be like messing around with that one. That nakshatra is one nakshatra that you've got to be completely aware of it. So for moon in Vishaka, which is Prince Andrew's D1, so this is always from the moon, not from the ascendant, because Vimshottari Dasha is from your moon. So for Vishaka moon, Venus would be his Pratyak nakshatra. So it will be the 5th one from his natal moon. So he was born in Jupiter period, and you just kind of go, so the 5th planet after that will be Venus Dasha. And Pratyak will be the nakshatra that gives you 3rd house and 6th house effects. So third house is that you have to become brave, you have to become courageous, you have to put masses of effort into things. You need to just learn to deal with your life really on a much more, apply yourself. And the sixth house will be, so you will have debts, obstacles, enemies, litigations. It is literally quite a difficult, difficult time. But they're both also Upachaya houses, so they do get better. But this obviously he's literally at the end of it. And Venus Dasha for him has been 20 years. Well, it is 20 years for everyone, but he's coming to the end of it, literally. He's only got like 4 years left, just over 4 years. However, he's been through this now for a difficult time for quite some time, quite a lot of pressure. It is like a bit of a pressure cooker time, for him. And then also Mercury for him, which is also his Atmakarka. So it's here to learn a lot of things about Mercury. Mercury for him is his Vipat Nakshatra. So it's his third Nakshatra from his moon. So he's, and this will be, so Mercury Nakshatras give him 8th and 12th house effects. So, and it doesn't mean that necessarily just because Mercury is there in the 8th house. This is from the moon. So 8th house and 12th house. And I normally, when I'm doing a reading, I tell people that this is almost like walking on quicksand. No sooner you take a step and you sink, and then you take another step and you sink. So it is both 8th house and 12th house, they bring losses. Both of them can also bring secret enemies and expenses. And obviously 8th house is all to do with scandals, and the nature of the scandals can be quite, to do with your private life. And so it is quite difficult. It's literally, you have all these obstacles after obstacles after obstacles occurring during this time. So he's going through a really, really tough time, and it's going to be there till 5th of May 2023. So this is not going away anytime soon. So I can see that it's been really difficult for him, and it will continue being very difficult. And also Ashlesha, which is also from his moon, his 22nd nakshatra, has been, so what happens is, this is also Mercury nakshatra. So from his moon, his ascendant is creating this issue for him as well, where he's, you could also say that he's actually creating this himself. He's created these issues. So his 22nd nakshatra is Ashlesha. So he's activated his first house. So he's fully activated now with this. And then in his D9, it's activated his 8th house of all of these secret things coming out now about his 8th house stuff there. And even in his D10, he has moon there, moon in Ashlesha. Very, very interesting. And the funny thing is also from his, from where the actual full moon occurred was in Pushya. So there's a lot of highlight now, and it's occurring in his 11th house of big networks. So it's actually out in them too. So not looking that great, actually. And the other thing is as well, because Saturn is right now sitting in his 7th house in his D1, 2nd house in his D9, but also 5th house in his D10. Jupiter is also sitting in 5th house, debilitated sign. It's not debilitation degree, but debilitated sign. So it's quite weak. And 4th house of his D10 is his homeland. And the 7th house, which is Pisces again, ruled by Jupiter, is his public image. So his 10th house is from his 10th house. Public image that he has is debilitated in the 5th house of royalty. is quite difficult, really. Very, very difficult. And I was just having a look and just seeing how does that compare to the UK. So as you can see, the full moon that we just had occurred in the 11th house of all the networks and big sort of like big stuff, you know, big groups and networks, you know, big establishments. This could also be like all the banking, all that kind of stuff. So it's also highlighted that was there. And the sun was in the 5th house of what would be the royalty of the UK. So sun, right now in the sky, we have Sun, Mercury, and also Saturn sitting on the 5th house. So there's, you know, Saturn actually in the skies has been really reiterating the 5th house of the UK. The royalty, so it's just literally, you know, because it's a legacy, literally, and all of this is being outed at the moment. So very, very telling time. And his Andrew's Rahu is on UK's K2, and vice versa. Rahu of UK is on the 9th house of Prince Andrew, as you can see. So yeah, very, very trying times now. So as an astrologer, I'm not so sure if this going to, I'm not really sure if the royalty is actually going to survive this, to be honest. I did do Prince Charles's chart a while ago to see whether or not he is going to take over from the Queen, because, you know, I just kind of noticed that the when we had the lunar eclipse occurring in at 3 degrees of Taurus, I noticed that would be like that was a 5th house of Queen's chart, so they gained royalty. So, and since then we've heard that she's not very well. So yeah, so I'm just wondering how things are going to pan out for the UK. Are we going to be a republic and become a sovereign country? And maybe this is very telling time, because it didn't look to me as though Prince Charles's chart is not in keeping with the UK either. So again, he's also a Cancer ascendant as well. So yeah, it's all very telling. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.